direction, if everybody can stand. It's outside. There it is, over there. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Let's have roll call.
Roll call. Mark Cinnamon.
Here.
Allison Goodprops. Here. Dennis Sands.
Here.
Joy Fay. Here. David Simpson.
Here.
Jeff Cooker. Here. All.
Do we have any additions to the agenda? Any additions to the agenda? I would be looking for approval of the agenda.
I'll make
A
a
motion.
motion to approve the agenda.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? The next item we have is citizens addressing the board. The first person I have up here is David Meyer. Dave, if you'd like to step up to the mic, or if you think you're loud enough to let everyone hear, have at it.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to take a few minutes, or not even that, discuss agenda item about the Noel Memorial Library donation. I encourage the trustees to approve this donation based on two reasons. One is that the library support is a definite goal and part of the comprehensive plan that you have established. And number two, that the citizens of the city of Shabbona have overwhelmingly voted for the resolution that was recently not passed as a result of the township not voting it in. But the city itself, most of all of the citizens, support the library, and I encourage the trustees to fund the library. That's it.
Thank you. Next person we have is Caleb.
Yes, sir.
Who does the village serve? Is it the residents of Shabbona? Because the newly elected trustees have been kept out of this meeting. First, there was a disqualification attempt to try to get us disqualified from holding office. And then you were put at the bottom of the agenda. Now, that's not typical because this current board put themselves at the top of the agenda when they were sworn in. So, I would ask the board, anybody can make a motion for this, to change the order of business and put the newly elected trustees at the top of the agenda. Thank you.
Next person we have speaking is Bill Tripp. Bill?
Should have the first set done by this weekend. Buddy, do you have any anchors for half inch?
We'll get it.
We'll need 16 of them. And I should have the first set done, one set of the rails done by this weekend. And at the cost of will be under $1,000. And all of this is just going to cover the material that I purchased, you know, to do all the fabrications. I was able to use a lot of the rail that we cut out, and I reformed things, and you know, I utilized as much as I could. I did have to buy a little bit extra, but
Sure.
it's going to be under $1,000.
Excellent. Thank you. Next person we have is Joseph Rubnick. Rubnick.
Good evening, and thank you for the time to allow me to address the board. I know it's been a few months since I've been up here, mostly due to the weather and an 8-hour drive, but Usually I try and put out, you know, the status of our federal legislation. That bill has not been filed yet, but it has been through legislative review. So we're looking forward to either Senator Duckworth or someone in the House to file that bill for us to help clear up some of these titles here. So that's what I'm working on. Once I'm done here, then head down to Springfield. So thank you again.
Thank you. Nicole Mallett.
Good evening. I have continuously addressed the board before you were on, and I've gotten nowhere. I have sewer issues at my house with the sewer lines. We had full construction done on our street on West Cherokee back late 90s. I have gone to Buddy. He has no documentation of where my sewer lines are at all. Where he told me they were supposed to be at, they're not. So he has no idea. The pavement that you guys put in on my driveway is completely falling apart. I brought this up with Claudia Hicks. I brought this up with the board prior, knowing that the past two other houses that had driveways were redone because the asphalt was not done properly. For some reason, mine was not done. So now it's sinking in from the construction that you did. And every single time I come here, you guys give me a runaround and don't want to take care of me. My house is 2002. And since 2002, I've been requesting what is going on. Why is this going on? And why wasn't my driveway fixed? Why is all the other driveways fixed, but mine was never? Where are my sewer lines? And why are my sewer lines, from what I've been told, in the middle of my driveway and never moved over like they were supposed to be? The board won't answer me.
The only answer that I can give you is that I have no idea what the construction was like back then. I doubt many members of the council do. Second thing is that the sewer line from your house to our connection is your responsibility.
It should have been moved with the construction that you guys did because you lowered our driveways. My sewer line should never be in the middle of my driveway, on top of my driveway is caving in. Would you want that?
It would be my responsibility if it were my.
This village did the work when you guys put in the new sewer lines to West Cherokee. And you never did the appropriate maintenance and construction for West Cherokee residents. I'm not the only one.
And that was done prior to you moving in?
Correct, but I
Did the
started.
former owner have an agreement with the village to this effect?
I have no
Did
idea.
the former owner talk to the village at that time to say?
From what
fix
I
my
was
sewer?
told, yes.
I don't see
You
where,
guys don't even have diagrams. You don't even know the construction worker that did the stuff. Because I asked you about a month ago.
I don't know that we have diagrams of every sewer from everyone's house.
Why not? Wouldn't that be something that would be
That
a
would be
plan?
something the owner would have, is the diagrams.
You
of
guys
our
did the
sewer.
construction on my street. And you're washing your hands of it again.
I'm sorry, I don't have an answer for you other than.
I'll see what I need to do.
It's-
I'm glad this board is gone and new board people are coming in.
Thank you. We have no one else addressing the board, so we're going to move on to reports and actions. The first item we have is the farmer's market. We have a request for permission to use Purdy Park. Oh, I'm sorry. Hunter is here to speak about the farmer's market.
Hi, I am Hunter. I have been a vendor at a farmer's market for the past three years, and when no one was stepping up to take on the role of running it, I thought that I would take a shot and so I will take up a lot of time. The two requests I have are like outlined on the agenda, but I would like to hold the farmer's market at a pretty park June through September from 9 to noon every Saturday. And then also historically, or the past 2 years, the village has paid for the farmer's market insurance, which I've been told is a $285 fee annually. And so those are my two requests to help support our local vendors and people. Thank you.
Do we have any questions for one? Then we'll move on to permission to use Purdy Park Saturdays, June through September, 9 a.m. to noon. I will be looking for a motion. I have a second. Discussion? If there's no discussion, I would be motion to accept. All in favor? Aye. Those opposed? The next item would be to request the village to purchase farmers market insurance. I believe the consideration to approve the resolution 2025-24-2BR1 for the village to purchase 2025 farmers market insurance for $285. I need a motion.
I'll make it.
I have a second. Discussion? If there's no discussion, can I have a roll call vote, please?
Roll call vote for the village to purchase the 2025 farmers market insurance for $285. Danny Stantz?
Yes.
Troy Fay? Yes. Jeff Crooker? Yes. Mark Simmons?
Yes.
David Simpson?
Yes.
Allison Kidd Brooks? Yes. Didn't miss anybody, right? Motion carried.
Okay, the next item would be report from the village engineer. Where are you? There you are, Curtis.
Hunter, I will purchase the insurance and then I'll email you a copy of it. Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chastain.
Well, hi guys, folks. You guys got a big agenda tonight, so I'm gonna keep it real brief. The main thing that we've got going on right now for you all is the little drainage project there at the fire department in Welltown 6. We're gonna be looking at a schedule to take bids on that project next month in May, and we'll be looking for review of the award of those bids at the late May meeting. So that's moving along well. And I'm hoping the contractor can get in there after get contracts executed and get that done this summer. So everything else is just kind of on hold right now, kind of focused on that, but we'll be doing the rest of that. Any questions on that?
We got a guesstimate on when it might be done, all done?
We take bids in May, contract will take about 45 days to get executed. And then it'll be up to the contractor schedule. I would think that work could be done in a manner, once it started, in a matter of 30 days.
How many days?
30.
30.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, sure. Any other questions? Thank you all very much.
Next item would be Public Works. Bud, what do you have for us?
We read water meters at the end of last month, and then when we started, we leveled off where the trees have been cut down the last month, leveled off all that dirt, carried off the extra drains, seeded where they were at, and removed. Contractors for City were in town, and they did mooring for fiber optic in the west Cherokee area. And they still have to finish out on Route 30 after they get the okay from IDOT. We had the property surveyed uptown of the main parking lot. And we have the boat plows and salt and spreader off and removed and put away. And then we've been receiving and filling out and filing the cross connection surveys that were sent out to the water bills. We also have are going to extend the warranty on the backhoe, powertrain, and hydraulics for another year and what, $500, I think it was, yeah?
60 months
60 months? Okay.
and $1,500 or $1,500.
Does anybody have any questions about
Are you having any troubles with that machine?
We just put a battery in today. But other than that, it's 4 years old right now. No, we have. But that covers a expensive type.
Yeah, this is kind of considered an extended warranty.
Correct.
Yeah.
The new purchase warranty expires on May 9th.
Right.
any other questions? If not, I would be looking for a motion to consideration I would be looking for a motion consideration to approve a resolution 2025-0428R2 for a 60-month, 1,500 hour extended powertrain and hydraulic warranty for the John Deere 310 for $1,526.
I'll make a motion.
Second, discussion?
I think it's a lot of money for warranty and some low business.
Good piece of machinery,
Yep.
a lot of time.
But how often do hydraulic hoses go out? Yeah, they can.
Go ahead, Dan.
How much did it cost originally? How much?
68,000.
68,000?
Yeah.
That's up like penny cents.
Yeah. Any other discussion? There's no discussion, can I have a roll call vote, please?
Roll call vote to approve resolution 2025-0428R2 for 60-month, $1,500 extended powertrain and hydraulic warranty on the John Deere 310L for $1,526. Mark Cinnamon,
Yes.
Jeff Cooker,
Yes.
Denny Sands,
Yes.
Allison Kidd Futz, yes, David Simpson,
No.
and Joy Fay. Yes. Motion carried.
Next item on the committee reports. The first committee will be the infrastructure committee. Mark, you're talking about trees, fish.
Right, I'll start off with, we had some tree pruning done in the last 3 weeks, plus some removals of a few large trees on North Illini, actually a total of 5 large trees on North Illini, 3 of which were very compromised and had a lot of issues, and with the storms we've had and a lot of the wind the past 6 months, some limbs were starting to fall out of them. One of them had split almost to the ground. So there were 5 large trees removed there, plus there was another tree, I think, on Mohawk, I believe. It was a large honey locust, had a lot of dead wood up in it. It kept falling out in the storms. So it was pruned and all the dead wood was taken out. And then the 2 buildings on the west side of the north parking lot that was paved next to the hotel. The trees were all removed behind the building. Most of them were ailanthus trees, which are very invasive and they're not desirable trees. And it was time to take them out. The village had purchased the lots and they grow rapidly, and a few more years they would have been huge. It would have been a real mess. So those trees were removed. There's still some cleanup left to do there. And I believe we're going to talk a little bit later about the 2 buildings coming out that they're poor shape. Next on what I have on my report is we did meet with the executive director of the Kishwaukee Water Reclamation District. It's been about 3 weeks ago, I believe. I think it was around April 10th. He just came in to talk to us about, we entered into a feasibility study with Waterman, the Potawatomis, and the Water Reclamation District about extending sewer service to Waterman. They need it badly. Their capacity. Potawatomis have no sewer service. Ours is probably 5 years. We're talking to a lot of engineers. Will have to be replaced. And by that time, we may be at capacity depending on what happens with the So right now, we've spent $2,500 on this feasibility study. And water, we spent like 10 times that amount, not more. Water bodies, they spent about 25 too. So our part of it right now is cheap. Right now, it's still at the feasibility stage. I'm sure we'll be in probably in a month. That's all I got.
Okay, thank you. Finance Committee, this will be Allison. What do you have for us?
So we met, I guess it's probably been close to 3 weeks ago now. We did do a first review of appropriations, but we also discussed reallocating some funds for the facade program that we're discussing under the development committee. So I know there's a resolution here. What we discussed is allocating 10% out of the non-home rural sales tax to put towards that facade fund on an annual basis.
So that consideration, we would be looking at this time for a motion for consideration and approval of a resolution 2025-24-28R3 for reallocation of funds to the facade improvement program.
I'll second.
Discussion?
What's the dollar amount on that reallocation?
Well, it's just check is different.
It's
Each check is different, so it's 50%.
Right. But do we have a cap on how much we'll spend on it, or
Spend on it.
spend on the facade program?
Go ahead.
Right now, I believe we have about $8,800 in the facade program. By allocating 10%, we would be allocating approximately $6,500 to $8,500 a year to that fund. Keep established and kind of grow it. And we, down the road, I assume it will get larger.
Yeah, and we can't go past that 8,800 or 8,500.
Well, no, because every year our share of the sales tax is slightly increased. Some years they go up 10%. It's been averaged about 10% a year.
Can we add that dollar amount on to the resolution, or is it already in there?
So you're saying you want there to be a maximum amount even if?
Yeah, so we just don't promise that we'll give everybody money, and then everybody goes, well, I applied for it, and I qualified for it, why don't I get money? Well, you know what I'm saying?
At this point in time, the amount of money we have in there, if people qualify for it, they'll get it, but if we run out of money in the fund, then there won't be it until we have money in it again.
Okay.
So this way, we kind of want to have a buffer in it. Because I think right now, the most anybody could get would be $5,000.
Yeah, that's coming up.
Yes.
And according to the program that Timmy talked about next, the total number of grant applications that may be approved within a fiscal year is dependent on amount appropriated for the program. So the appropriation will be your cap.
Forgot about that.
Any other questions, discussion? If there are none, can I have a roll call vote?
Roll call vote to approve or resolution 2025-04-28R3. Jeff Cookert.
Yes.
Allison Kidprop. Yes. Denny Sands.
Yes.
Mark Cinnamon.
Yes.
Joy Fay.
Yes.
David Simpson.
Yes.
Motion carried.
And this next item under public affairs, Allison, this is, I'm sorry, Development Committee. Allison, did probes for the consideration of the facade program.
So we met a couple of times actually and discussed a facade program that was compiled from other facade programs, and this is what we had, our final draft after we've gone through and made some changes. So again, this would be to help owners in the downtown area be able to apply for funds. There are requirements in here that need to be followed. There's maximum amounts, there's minimum amounts, what the funds can be used for, the process, it's all in here, so.
Any questions for Allison at this time?
I got a question.
Yeah.
Is there a percentage that they can apply for, or?
So if you look on page 14 of the overall packet,
this is how we determine, there's a point system. And then based on what they qualify for, like points wise, then that determines what percent of the improvements that they will receive. So if they get like 2 points, it's like 5%, things like that. But there's a maximum of 5,000. So even, so if they're doing a project for $50,000, the maximum they can get is 5,000.
If they're doing one for 100,000, the maximum is still 5,000.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Any other questions or discussion? Can I have a roll call vote, please? Oh, I'm sorry. I need a motion, consideration and approval of the facade program.
Motion.
I'll second.
Discussion? If there's no further discussion, now a roll call vote, please.
Roll call vote to approve the facade improvement program. Mark Cinnamon,
Yes.
Allison Kidd Props,
Yes.
David Simpson,
Yes.
Denny Sands,
Yes.
Mark Cinnamon,
Yes.
Joy Fay,
Yes.
Jeff Cooker. You only count once. I was just testing it.
Yeah. Always a quiz. Okay, we'll move on to Public Affairs Committee, Dave.
Nothing to report other than I'm looking forward to seeing what the new committee has in store.
Okay. No questions for Dave. The next item would be the sheriff's report. You got a copy of this report, had it, got an opportunity to go over it. If you have any questions, or you wish me to contact the sheriff about anything, please let me know. Otherwise, we will move on to the village clerk. The first item under the village clerk is review and approval of the board meeting minutes from March 24, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? There's no discussion. I have a motion to accept. I have a second. No discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? The next item will be zoning permits. I'll have a copy of the zoning permits issued to date.
For when Buddy mentioned Syndio doing fiber optic, that was the map put in there with the utility permit that our engineers issued. So we issue for the village streets, IDOT issues for Route 30, and the county issues for Shabbona Road. So,
Questions on that? If not, we'll move on to item number 3. You're all given a copy of the FOIA logs for 2025 to date. Any questions on those? There are no questions on that. We'll move on to the food truck application received and approved in April.
so there was one food truck permit issued in April. It was to Tamales Los Girasoles, the taco truck. And I looked up how to say that word. On April 4th, and it expires on December 10th for our ordinance. So they were excited to come back. And then the last thing is FFA sign for state proficiency winner Allie Peterson. The Indian Creek FFA advisor emailed me. Allie Peterson won state proficiency for agricultural education, and it's one of the special signs that IDOT does not just provide. So I priced the sign. I had sent in the application to IDOT. They approved it. Buddy's ordered the signs. Indian Creek School District will reimburse the village the cost of the signs. The estimate's $170 for the 2 signs. When they get installed, once they're received, they'll replace, if they're still up, the Zeke Wackerman signs from 2023, because those are coming down within the next month anyways.
Any questions about the sign? Trucks. We'll move into finance. Be looking for approval of bills and payroll for April. Motion.
Motion to approve the bills and payroll for April.
I have a second. Discussion? There's no discussion. Can I have a roll call vote, please?
Roll call vote to approve April's bills and payroll. David Simpson.
Yes.
Joy Fay. Denny Sands.
Yes.
Allison Kidd Props. Mark Cinnamon?
Yes.
Jeff Kluger?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Next item we have is the Llewellyn Library donation request. This is a consideration approval of resolution 2025-2428R4, donation to Llewellyn Memorial Library of $24,000. Mel, go ahead, Mel the librarian.
I'll throw my director's hat on for a minute. I'm coming to the board and asking for a donation of $24,000 to help us get through this new fiscal year. Our new fiscal year starts May 1st, or until April 30th. As y'all know, our referendum failed. The reason our board decided to go ahead and go forward and we're trying to do some other things, if you look at the vote counts, it passed huge here in the village of Shabbona, and it passed in the village of Lee. The only reason it failed, it had to pass in all 3 spots, and it did fail out in the township. So we are going to try and keep the library open and do a couple different things. We've had some volunteers come up, and we're going to try and put together a Friends of the Library group. The Building Shabbona Together group said that we could start the 501c3 under them. Our first meeting for that will be May 20th. Our board president, Janet, has put a post out requesting donations for either toilet paper, paper towels. We've had quite a few people in the community come into the library, drop off Windex, paper towels, toilet paper, Kleenex, a lot of our needs. We will only be receiving $33,000 this year in taxation. And if you look at the copy of the budget that I sent to you all, you'll notice we cut everything out of the budget. That's not buying any new books. That's not buying any program supplies, cleaning supplies, nothing. And it's still going to cost us about $43,000 to run. So that is why we're asking for a $24,000 donation.
Is 24,000 going to be enough, or do you?
It's
I know
tight.
you'd be interested in more,
Well,
and I'd be happy to make a motion for more, but.
The more the merrier, but at the same time, we are going to be seeking donations and sponsorships from others. Not saying we're going to
But
pick them,
this amount's going to get you by.
but it will squeak us by for this fiscal year, yes, with 24,000.
I'm happy for more.
I'll make a motion to approve the donation.
I'll second it.
Discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Roll call vote to approve resolution 2025-0428R4, donation to Llewellyn Memorial Library in the amount of $24,000. Joy Fay? Yes. Allison Big Props?
Yes.
Denny Sands?
Yes.
David Simpson?
Yes.
Jeff Kluger?
Yes.
Mark Cinnamon?
Yes.
Motion carried.
The next item is the treasurer's report as of March 31st, 2025. I'll be looking for a motion to accept.
I'll make a motion to accept the treasurer's report.
And the second discussion. If there's no discussion, back roll call vote, please.
Roll call vote to accept the treasurer's report. Allison Big Props? Yes. Joy Fay?
Yes.
Denny Sands?
Yes.
David Simpson?
Yes.
Jeff Kluger?
And there's one thing I'd like to say is we can always count on you to do a very good treasurer's report. Thank you. Sorry.
Jeff Kluger?
Yes.
Mark Cinnamon?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Next item for your reading pleasure is the first reading of the fiscal year 26 appropriations. Take a look at it. We'll be addressing it next meeting for the second reading. Final item under finance would be the utility billing. Do you have anything?
Utility billing, no, deadline is Wednesday. The $7,000 bill that is owed, that I was contacted last week. And they're wondering if we can pay Jeff. The answer is no, so she's going to follow up on that.
Maybe we'll get it soon.
Any questions? Okay, we're going to move on to ordinances, resolutions, proclamation. First item is ordinance 2025-4-28A, amending chapter 12, adding article 9, IX, licensing and operation of raffles and poker runs. Need a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 2025-04-28A.
I'll second.
Second, any discussion? Can I have a roll call vote, please?
Roll call vote to approve ordinance 2025-04-28A, amending chapter 12, adding article 9, licensing and operation of raffles and poker runs. Allison Kidd Brooks.
Yes.
Mark Cinnamon.
Yes.
Jeff Cooper.
Yes.
David Simpson.
Yes.
Danny Sands.
Yes.
Joy Fay.
Yes.
Motion carried.
The next item is ordinance 2025-04-28- parentheses BN parentheses, amending chapter 20- section 20-1, sidewalk construction. I need a motion to approve.
I'll second.
I have a second. Any discussion?
Do we still need to get engineering done on every sidewalk that we put in?
Yeah, I believe we do. No?
We don't?
What if it's motor fuel tax?
Oh, okay.
Then yes.
Yeah, it was motor fuel tax. All right. Any additional discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Roll call vote to approve ordinance 2025-04-28B, amending chapter 20, section 20-1, sidewalk construction. Joy Fay.
Yes.
Allison Kidd Props.
Yes.
David Simpson.
Yes.
Mark Cinnamon.
Yes.
Jeff Cooker.
Yes.
Danny Sands.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, the next item is ordinance 2025-04-28, parentheses C and parentheses, amending chapter 26- section -26-62, article 3, III, parking. I need a motion to approve.
I will make a motion to approve ordinance 2025-04-28C.
Second, discussion? If there's no discussion, can I have a roll call vote, please?
Roll call vote to approve ordinance 2025-04-28C, amending chapter 26, section 26-62, article 3, parking. Jeff Cooper.
Yes.
Mark Cinnamon.
Yes.
Allison Kidd Props.
Yes.
Danny Sands.
Yes.
Joy Fay.
Yes.
David Simpson.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, next item will be resolutions. This resolution is consideration approval of resolution 2025-04-28 R5.
Number 4.
Oh, sorry, skip one, go back. This is for ordinance number 2025-428 parentheses D and parentheses, amending chapter 8, adding article XV15, facade improvement program. I need a motion.
I'll second.
Discussion? If there's no discussion, can I have a roll call vote, please?
Roll call vote to approve ordinance 2025-04-28D, amending chapter 8, adding article 15, facade improvement program. Jeff Cooker.
Yes.
Mark Cinnamon.
Yes.
Allison Kidd Props.
Yes.
Danny Sands.
Yes.
Joy Fay.
Yes.
David Simpson.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Now we'll move on to resolutions. This is consideration and approval of resolution 2025-04-28R5 for building demolition on the village-owned lot adjacent to the north public parking lot for $6,000.
Is this the old Greenwell property?
Yes.
I'll make a motion.
Second discussion. If there's no discussion, can I have a roll call vote, please?
Roll call vote to approve resolution 2025-0428-5. Danny Sands.
Yes.
Joy Fay.
Yes.
David Simpson.
Yes.
Mark Cinnamon.
Yes.
Jeff Cooker.
Yes.
Allison K. Props.
Yes.
Motion carried. That was for Gray's Tree Service for $6,000.
The next item is consideration and approval of Resolution 2025-04-28-R6, Administrative Adjudication Hearing Officer Agreement with Mark Schuster, PC. I need a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2025-04-28R6.
Second.
I have a second. Discussion?
When will the adjudication process start? Possibly
Next month.
next month?
Okay. Any further discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Roll call vote to approve resolution 2025-0428-R6. Allison K. Props.
Yes.
Jeff Cooker.
Yes.
Mark Cinnamon.
Yes.
Danny Sands.
Yes.
David Simpson.
Yes.
Joy Fay.
Yes.
Motion carried.
The next items up are proclamations. I would ask that the first proclamation, Mark, if you could read that one. This is a National Public Works Week, May 18th to the 24th.
Page 90.
Whole thing?
Please. That's what I'm on. Read it to you.
National Public Works Week proclamation, May 18th through the 24th, 2025. People, purpose, and presence. Whereas public works professionals focus on infrastructure, facilities, and services that are of vital importance to the sustainable and resilient communities and to public health, high quality of life, and well-being of the people of the village of Shabbona. And whereas these infrastructure facilities and services could not be provided without the dedicated effort of public works professionals who are engineers, managers, and employees at all levels of government and the private sector who are responsible for rebuilding, improving, and protecting our nation's transportation, water supply, water treatment, solid waste systems, public buildings, and other structures and facilities essential for our citizens. And whereas it is in the public interest for the citizens, civic leaders, and children in the village of Shabbona to gain knowledge of and maintain an ongoing interest and understanding of the importance of public works and public works programs in their respective communities. And whereas the year 2025 marks the 65th annual National Public Works Week sponsored by the American Public Works Association, Canadian Public Works Association, be it now.
I'll take over. Resolved, I, Donald J. Gonchar, do hereby designate the week of May 18th to the 24th, 2025 as National Public Work Weeks. I urge all citizens to join with representatives of the American Public Works Association and government agencies in activities, events, and ceremonies designed to pay tribute to our public work professionals, engineers, managers, and employees to recognize the substantial contributions they make to protecting our national health, safety, and advanced quality of life for all. In witness thereof, I hereunto set my hand and cause the seal of the village to be affixed. Done at the village this 28th day of 2025, of April 2025. The next item is a proclamation. This is for the 56th Municipal Clerks Week, May 4th to the 10th, 2025, whereas the office of municipal clerk at a time-honored and vital part of the government exists throughout the world, and whereas the office of the municipal clerk is the oldest among public servants, and whereas the office of the municipal clerk provides the professional link between the citizens, the local government governing bodies, and the agencies of government, at their levels, and whereas municipal clerks have pledged to be ever mindful of their neutrality, impartiality, and rendering equal service to all. Whereas the municipal clerk serves as the information center on functions of local government and community. Whereas municipal clerks continually strive to improve the administration of the affairs of the office of municipal clerk through participation in education programs, seminars, and workshops. Whereas it is most appropriate that we recognize the accomplishments of the office of the municipal clerk. Now therefore, I, Donald J. Gonchar, Village President of Shabbona, Illinois, do hereby proclaim the week of May 4 to 10, 2025 as Municipal Clerks Week, and further extend appreciation to our municipal clerk, Jen Morrison, our deputy clerk, Melanie Bird, and to all the municipal clerks for the vital services they perform and their exemplary dedication to the communities they represent. Dated this 28th day of April, 2025. Thank you. The next item is a proclamation by the Village of Shabbona. Whereas safety is the highest priority for the highways and streets of our village and state, and whereas the great state of Illinois is proud to be a national leader in motorcycle safety, education, and awareness, and whereas motorcycles are a primary, common, and economical means of transportation that reduce fuel consumption and road wear, and contribute in a significant way to the relief of traffic and parking congestion. And whereas it is especially meaningful that the citizens of our village and state be aware of motorcycles on the roadways and recognize the importance of motorcycle safety. And whereas the members of ABATE of Illinois, a brotherhood aimed toward education, continually promote motorcycle safety, education, and awareness in high school driver's education programs and the general public in our village and state, representing motorcycle awareness programs to over 120,000 participants in Illinois over the past 9 years. And whereas all motorcycles should join ABATE of Illinois Incorporated in actively promoting the sale and safe operation of motorcycles, as well as promoting motorcycle safety, education, awareness, and respect of the citizens, our village and state. And whereas the motorcyclists of the Illinois have contributed extensive volunteerism and money to national and community charitable organizations. And whereas the month of May, all roadway users should unite in the safe sharing of roadways within the village of Shabbona and throughout the great state of Illinois. Therefore, I, Donald J. Gonchar, Village President of the Village of Shabbona in the great state of Illinois, in recognition of 38 years of ABATE in Illinois Incorporated and over 352,318 registered motorcycles statewide, in recognition of the continued role served as a leader in motorcycle safety and educational awareness, do hereby proclaim the month of May, this year 2025, as Motorcycle Awareness Month in the village of Shabbona, and urge all motorists to join in an effort to improve safety and awareness on our roadways. In witness thereof, I set my hand and cause the great seal of the great Shabbona to be affixed this 28th day of May, April, in the year of 2025. No more proclamations. Okay, now we're going to move on to old business. First item on old business. I'll turn to the clerk. Status of notice violation registration invoice.
No property owners have registered vacant buildings to date. Between April 7th and April 14th, all were sent invoices. 103 West Comanche got notice sent with their first invoice, 300 West Comanche, 502 West Comanche, 211 West Comanche, 115 and 117 West Comanche and 210 West Comanche all got their 18 or 19 month invoice. And then 104 South Illini, the property owner submitted, page 93 in the packet, a remediation plan for his property. And wanting to work with the village so that he can remediate his property.
If we discussed with him waiving the fees since he was working on it, as we continue to work with him to do something with the building, is that correct?
We did, yes.
I need a roll call vote on that. No, I need a motion to go ahead and waive those fees.
I make a motion to accept the plan and waive the fees.
Make a motion to
Accept the plan, waive the fees.
Okay. Need a second?
Just second.
Is there a second? Okay, any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Roll call vote to accept the remediation plan and waive registration fees for 104 South Illini. Troy Fay? Jeff Clifford?
Yes.
David Simpson?
Yes.
Benny Sands?
Yes.
Allison Kidd Props?
Yes.
Mark Cinnamon?
Yes.
I will let the property owner know that he needs to provide an update to the board for the August 25th, 2025 board meeting, which is 4 months out for the ordinance.
Thank you. Next item, under old business B. This will be a ratification of.
No. We did also have some, you guys got everything in emails, ordinance letters and notices that went out in the month of March and April. 104 West Comanche was sent a letter regarding hotel motel tax ordinance. And as of April 15th, had not per ordinance registered or done a tax return. So a violation notice was sent out on 4/16. Per ordinance, it has been requested the village attorney proceed with bringing action to enforce payment of the hotel motel tax per ordinance. 104 West Comanche also, building inspector went in the public laundry room and reported that it should have had a building permit, so notice was sent on that. And 30 days later, notice was sent with fine for failure to comply with the building ordinance. It is a $250 per day fine per ordinance. The invoice that was for 1 day. So if the permit's not applied for yet, the next invoice will be sent at 5/10 for about 14 days.
Any questions? That's it. All right, we'll move on to ratification and approval for employee wage increase of 5% for public works employees, village treasurer, village clerk, village deputy clerk, and crossing guards as of May 1st, 2025. I will need a motion.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Roll call vote, Mark Cinnamon,
Yes.
Allison Kidd Props.
Yes.
Jeff Clifford.
Yes.
David Simpson.
Yes.
Joy Fay.
Yes.
Benny Sands.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Next item will be ratification of approval for the village clerk to become a full-time employee as of May 1st, 2025.
I make the motion for the village clerk.
Motion,
I'll second.
and a second. Discussion? There's no discussion, roll call vote, please.
Roll call vote, Joy Fay.
Yes.
Allison Kidd Props.
Yes.
Benny Sands.
Yes.
David Simpson.
Yes.
Mark Cinnamon.
Yes.
Jeff Clifford. Yes. Motion carried.
Okay. Down to item number 9. And at this time, I would like to thank the outgoing board for their service for the past years and all the work that you have done. I appreciate the work that you have done. I would like to adjourn the meeting of the existing Board of Trustees. I need, no? Thank you. Thank you. The next item is I have to swear in the clerk. Okay. Raise your right hand. I, Jennifer Morrison,
I, Jennifer Morrison,
do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
the laws and ordinances of the Village of Shabbona,
the laws and ordinances of the Village of Shabbona,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of Village Clerk
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of Village Clerk
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Thank you.
And then we're going to move forwards with Mark Stanley. Hi, Mark. All right, you can raise your right hand. I state your name.
I, Mark Stanley,
Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the laws and ordinances of the Village of Shabbona,
laws and ordinances of the Village of Shabbona,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office of Board Trustee
I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of Board of Trustee
to the best of my
to
ability.
the best of my ability.
Welcome to the Village Board. Out of the rolling total. Yeah. Bring that 9.
Okay.
Hi, Frank. Hi. If you could raise your right hand, please.
Good.
I state your name.
I, Frank Ottenheim,
Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
the laws and ordinances of the Village of Shabbona,
the laws and ordinances of the Village of Shabbona,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office of Board Trustee
the duties of the office of Board Trustee
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Welcome to the Village Board again. Joshua Snyder.
Is that why it's hard to hear you?
Give them out as they sit. Okay. Hi, Joshua. You can raise your right hand, please. I state your name.
I, Joshua Snyder,
Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
the laws and ordinances of the Village of Shabbona,
the laws and ordinances of the Village of Shabbona,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office of Board Trustee
the duties of the office of Board Trustee
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Welcome to the Village Board. Raise your right hand, please. I state your name.
I, Callan Wells,
Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United
the
States,
Constitution of the State of Illinois,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
the laws and ordinances of the Village of Shabbona,
the laws and ordinances of the Village of Shabbona,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office of Board Trustee
the duties of the office of Board Trustee
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations. For those of you that just got sworn in, the top of the brown folder you were given has the entire board packet, but it's got it starting with we're picking up on the agenda now. And at the bottom of that paper clipped pile is the oath of office that needs to be signed by you and turned into me before you leave tonight.
So we'll move on then. I will call to order the meeting of the new Board of Trustees. And when you're ready, we'll have a roll.
Roll call vote. Mark Cinnamon.
Here.
Denny Sands.
Here.
Mark Stanley.
Here.
Frank Ottenheim.
Here.
Joshua Snyder.
Present.
Kellen Welsh.
Present.
Okay, under new business, you will notice in your packet that there are standing committee assignments. You all have received a copy of those standing assignments and the chairman of those assignments.
Send 3 down that way. And send down. You guys can have it too. So there was one mistake, which I've also emailed out to everybody's trustee emails. On infrastructure in the packet, I mistakenly had Denny Sands on infrastructure, and it's actually Kellen Welsh. I apologize. I've corrected it, and that's the handout that's coming to you.
Okay. The next item of business is liquor license renewals. Now, I need a motion from the board to accept these liquor license renewals. I can do them all at one time, or I can do them individually. I need a motion to do one or the other.
All together.
Okay, is that a motion?
I'll second.
I have a second. And I will need a roll call vote on that.
So the 3 liquor license renewals that need to happen because they expire on April 30th is Express Lane BP for Class C plus Sundays, Indian Oaks Country Club, IOC 603 LLC for Class A plus Sundays, and R&R Pub for Class A plus Sundays.
I have a motion, I have a second. Discussion? If there's no discussion, can I have a roll call?
Denny Sands.
Yes.
Mark Cinnamon.
Yes.
Frank Ottenheim.
Yes.
Mark Stanley.
Yes.
Kellen Welsh.
Yes.
Joshua Snyder.
Yes.
Motion carried.
The next item is two of these places, the Express Lanes BP and the R&R Pub, have video gaming license. We can do these both together, or we can do them individually.
Yeah. I'll make a motion.
He makes a motion.
I second.
I have a second.
Who was that?
I'll second.
Sorry, I'll recognize voices without listening shortly.
Discussion? If there's no discussion, can I have a roll call vote?
Denny Sands.
Yes.
Kellen Welsh.
Yes.
Joshua Snyder.
Yes.
Frank Ottenheim.
Yes.
Mark Stanley.
Yes.
Mark Cinnamon.
Yes.
Motion carried.
The next item is the consideration and approval to use MFT funds for sidewalks in fiscal year 26. I've been looking for a motion.
I'll make a motion to use motor fuel tax funds for replacing existing sidewalks. And maybe a little bit of new sidewalk too.
Okay. Need a second?
I'll second.
All right, second. Discussion?
How much motor fuel tax are we gonna use for sidewalks?
It's appropriated currently for up to $60,000
Those motor fuel tax.
of motor fuel tax. Don't know if we use all that amount. Chastain was waiting to find out if we're using motor fuel tax or not, because that makes a difference on what paperwork they do to estimate it. Because they have to do IDOT paperwork if we're using MFT, so we didn't want to pay twice for engineering.
Because I need to get a little more up to speed on this.
Given that we just received the board packet and I don't know anything about this, I move to table this discussion until the next meeting.
I'll second that motion.
Oh, okay. Okay, I have a second on a motion to table it. I need a roll call vote on it.
Can I ask you a question first?
Sure.
Is there a time limit on this that has to be passed by such and such time, otherwise they would go out of business or whatever?
No, it's just the
No.
fact that the IDOT paperwork takes some time.
Yeah.
So if, depending on the timing of doing the sidewalks, it can take a month or two to get all the approvals and all the little ducks in a row and bid it out.
So I have a question. What do we normally receive in motor fuel tax in a year? Approximately. Then that could be
About 3,000 a month, so.
upward.
We currently have 154,000. We haven't spent any in a couple of years.
Yeah, we have about 54,000 in motor fuel tax, and we want to use 60,000 for the upcoming.
So is it a use it or lose it?
No.
No, you don't use it, or
It's
you
just-
don't use it all. You do IDOT paperwork and they put it back in your MFT account.
MFT money can't be used unless it's approved by the state, and so they have to know the plans. Otherwise, it just sits in our account, we get a monthly check, but we can't use it without their approval, because they have to okay what we're doing.
People have interest on it now?
Very little, but yes.
Asking.
Yeah.
Well, can I ask Buddy's question?
Go ahead.
About how many feet were we talking about?
I took the sheet out that I had. I don't know, it was a couple thousand, I think, wasn't it? Okay, a couple thousand.
1,300? What sticks in my mind? It was more than we've done in quite a while. We've done a whole lot.
So overall, this is for sidewalks, street.
Yes. Just instead of using general funds, we want to use the motor fuel tax, which does not for sidewalks, but they have to approve the plans.
Okay. So I need, right now, there's a motion to table this. So I need to do a roll call vote on whether we should table this or not. Should we table it? That's the motion.
Roll call vote to table until May meeting. Calvin Welsh.
Yes.
Joshua Snyder.
Yes.
Mark Zimmerman.
No.
Denny Sands.
No.
Frank Ottenheim.
Yes.
Mark Stanley.
I'm gonna say yes right now. I want to read more.
Okay, so the motion is, it's tabled until next month.
And that's fair enough.
Okay. The next item would be consideration by the board. Would the board be in favor of a variance requested for a liquor license and video gaming license in the C1 district for a bar or bar/restaurant or a packaged liquor store? There was some interest by some gentlemen, and they were curious as to, they're not going to buy it and find out we can't do it. So they're asking if there would be interest in the board to allow them to have have a liquor license and video games. And this would be just what's your consensus?
So what it is that anything between Shabbona Road and Blackhawk Street, where Public Works is considered commercial C1 district, and bars and liquor are approved in C2, which is outside of that. So within that C1 district, they have to have a variance to do it. And they don't want to purchase the property and then get turned down.
So we're not approving a variance, we're just saying we'd
Would
be
you
interested.
Would be
in
interested,
favor
yeah.
of a zoning variance permit for a bar and video gaming in downtown if someone was to purchase a building there and wanted to do that?
But nothing.
It's not a vote.
A straw poll maybe.
Straw poll, just in case they do come back, I can say that the board is generally interested in what you're doing.
How many do we have now?
We only have one bar downtown. We have a bar at the country club. And then the liquor stores, we have liquor at BP, we have liquor at Casey's. They both sell hard liquor now.
And has there been any issues with that in the last few years?
Not that I can say.
Okay.
Casey, does that have a variance to sell hard liquor?
No, they did a new application, liquor like application to change their liquor class. So they went from a class B, which is essentially beer, to class C, which so they can sell the same stuff that BP sells.
But I thought you said it was only allowed in C2.
Yeah, but they already have a standing liquor license. Approved liquor license.
But were they approved for hard liquor?
Yes, well,
Without a variance?
we did 5.
No, we did not have any dual variants.
Or they already are.
Casey's has been selling liquor for
Beer. They've been selling beer, not hard liquor. And I thought you just said that it was only allowed in C2.
Zoning first
Without,
started
without,
with
a,
BC2.
without a variance.
Without a variance.
So they're changing the liquor license without a variance for C2. Is that correct?
Yes, and I can go back to them. If that's what you're asking.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. If you said it can only be done in C2.
Is it, I may be wrong, but is that as if they're a bar though, rather than just a establishment that sells beer or liquor?
It doesn't really specify anything about just selling liquor. I put in the packet the C1 and C2 use. I don't have to read it closer.
But we can have reapply if that's necessary.
And this is between Blackhawk Street and,
Shabbona Road.
so in that case, isn't Amico, would they have a variance? If we're gonna push this.
That would be C2, correct? Amico?
They're already in C2, BP. They're in C2.
If I can say something, the C1 district, they have the ordinance here. It says that you're allowed to sell food, drug, and beverages. The definition of alcoholic liquor defines it as a beverage. I would say that C1 only allows the use of bars and selling of liquor.
For packaged liquor.
Doesn't define it as packaged liquor, it just says beverages.
Oh yeah, restaurants, very good.
It also says in part 10 that taverns are allowed, specifically. I know there's a slight difference between a bar and a tavern, but they're virtually similar.
Saloon.
So they shouldn't
So if
be.
they did purchase it, they would not need a variance.
That would be my understanding.
So you'd be looking to say you would be interested.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. That's all I needed. And then we'll move on to item number 15.
I can make an incidental motion. I move to suspend Robert's rules governing order of business and the rule governing which members may initiate a reconsideration so that the newly elected trustees may reassess resolutions previously discussed under agenda item 7B2 until adjourned.
I'll second that motion.
But you're gonna have to say it again because I couldn't type it that fast. Move to what?
I move to suspend Robert's rules governing order of business and the rule governing which members may initiate a reconsideration so that the newly elected trustees may reassess resolutions previously discussed.
Wait, you're going a little too fast. Which governing rules of business and which,
And the rule governing which members may initiate a reconsideration
oh,
so that the newly elected trustees may reassess resolutions previously discussed under agenda item 7B2.
to look into
Adjudication. So the adjudication agreement.
So you're making a motion to suspend Robert's rules
Yes.
For that.
The specific Robert's.
for that specific item. So first, I have a second discussion. If there's no discussion,
Can I just mention that I think what we're getting at is on Robert, under Robert's rules, it's only a member of the prevailing side that can make a motion to reconsider something. And so, you know, we got 4 people that were not here, so what he's asking is that the suspension of the rule that the prevailing side person must make the motion, that this would allow anybody to make that motion. Does that make sense?
No.
So, what you want, Caleb, is you want to be able to go back to the resolutions earlier, but you're now a member of the prevailing side, so you ordinarily, under Robert's rules, wouldn't be able to make that motion.
That's correct. So I'm asking for a motion to suspend that rule so that we can go back and recess.
Right. So if we suspend the rule, then anybody that wasn't on the board when the motion got passed can make a motion to reconsider.
okay, so the motion is on the table and seconded to suspend the rules so that this could be revisited. Is that correct? Okay, so that being said, I need a roll call vote. Do we want to suspend the rules of Robert's rules?
Roll call vote to suspend Robert's rules in. In reference to resolution 2025-0428R6. Calvin Welsh.
Yes.
Joshua Snyder.
Yes.
Frank Ottenheim.
Yes.
Mark Zimmerman.
No.
Denny Sands.
No.
Mark Stanley.
Yes. I want to know what it is.
Motion carried to suspend the rules and reassess that resolution. So we go into the, do you want to look at it now or?
Yes.
So if you go into your packet, the binder lift part. Page 86 begins that section. 86 through 89.
Yeah.
This part, we just suspended the rules, so we need a motion.
Motion to reconsider.
I'll second the motion.
Do I need a roll call on that?
Yeah.
Okay. He has, his motion was,
To reconsider, actually said reconsider, but you got a specific one you want to reconsider?
7B2.
which would be resolution 20250428R6, correct?
Yes, which is for the appointment of the adjudication officer.
Okay. So you have a motion to revisit it, is that correct?
Yeah, reconsider.
Okay. Item first, item second. Now I need a roll call vote. Do we want to revisit this? Yea or nay? Yes or no? Roll call vote.
Roll call vote to reconsider the resolution. Calvin Welsh.
Yes.
Joshua Snyder.
Yes.
Mark Zimmerman.
No.
Denny Sands.
No.
Mark Stanley.
Yes.
Frank Ottenheim.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Should we discuss it now? Or do we have to? No, we can wait till, we'll go to the table the next month.
I'd like to be able to check in it, that's why I said yes, because I want to be able to read the set and understand. So
You would be making a motion.
I'd like to make a motion
Table
to
it second? Table it. So I have a second on the table. Can I have a roll call vote to table this till May? May meeting.
Mark Sisson,
No.
Denny Sands,
Yes.
Frank Ottenheim.
Yes.
Mark Stanley,
Yes.
Joshua Snyder,
Yes.
Alan Walsh.
Yes.
Motion carried, tabled until the May meeting.
Okay. So then we will move on to item 15.
I've got a question. I'd like to reconsider number 8, old business, C. I'd like a little more information about that. Is full-time village clerk. I'd like to know wages and if there's benefits and such a matter. I'd like to know a little more about that.
I think that's what you made.
Motion to reconsider old business number 8. C.
Okay, and that would be the ratification for the village clerk to become a full-time employee. Okay, do you have a motion? Do I have a second?
I second.
I have a second. So now I need a roll call vote to, or discussion, I'm sorry. I have a motion, I have a second. I have discussion to revisit this motion. Discussion? If there's no discussion, then a roll call vote to revisit this item. Ratification of the approval for the village clerk to become full-time as of May 1. Yes or no? Roll call vote.
Roll call vote to reconsider 8C, village clerk, full-time employee. Alan Welsh,
Yes.
Frank Ottenheim,
Yes.
Joshua Snyder,
Yes.
Mark Sisson,
No.
Denny Sands,
No.
Mark Stanley,
No.
3-3 tie.
No.
Village president votes no, motion carries to let approval stand.
Now we will move on to item 15. I need a motion.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I need a second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
All right.
Opposed? All right, thank you.